Hey guys, it's Keenya Kelly. Just wanted to come on here and chat with you guys about how to host an effective wow party, home party, tea party. Here's the deal. Here is the deal. So to host an effective tea party, you need some tea, okay? That's the number one thing. You need to make sure that you have some tea, all right? But here's the deal. I know that some of you guys say, well, I have a really small house, or I want to rent out this room, or I want to have this here. But here's the deal, guys. The most effective home parties are in your living room, where people can see the stains on your couch, where they can hear your kids in the back room doing whatever, and your dog and your cat or whatever. The most effective home parties are those that are at your house. Don't worry about how small your place is. Yes, you should clean it up. All right, if it smells bad, make sure it doesn't smell bad, and make sure it looks good, okay? So clean it up, all right? And so what you need at your home party is a couple things. Number one, you need to visit the totallifechanges.com website, go to resources, and print out the applications, okay? So that way, if people want to sign up right there at your home party, they can sign up. You pass out applications at your home party. If they want to buy products, they can do the same thing. If you have access to a laptop and Wi-Fi, have your laptops up, okay? In case after the presentation, they're ready to order, they can buy, okay? You don't want to go out and buy a bunch of food. You do not want to have a bunch of food at your party. All you want to have at your party is tea, NutriBurst, Strike Up in Love, and any product they can take right there on hand. Now, what do I recommend? I recommend that you have an entire gallon of tea, that each person that comes to your house, you give them as much tea as they are willing to drink, all right? Because after that party is over with, you want them to begin to go, oh my God, I need to go to the bathroom. You want them to have a reaction, okay? So that way they know that it works. It may not work that fast for everyone, but it may work that fast for some. Number two is you want to have the NutriBurst, and you want it to the little sample, just small samples of it. That way people can get the effects of that. If you can have Strike Up in Love, I highly recommend you have Strike Up in Love at the party. If you know some couples and you've talked to them about it, have them take it as soon as they get there if they know what it is. That way, by the end of the presentation, if they feel froggy, they may say, we ready to go. And they may say, well, why? Well, we took Strike Up in Love right when we got here, right? Because the thing about the home party is, at that party, you want people buying. You want folks buying up everything you got before they leave. And the number one way to get someone to buy is to let them try it out. And so you want them to try out as much stuff as possible as soon as they get there versus at the end of the presentation, okay? Now, don't give anybody any NRG unless you're having a daytime presentation. But you can give them a pill to take home, but don't have anyone try out the NRG. You want to have the emu oil if you can. And when you're in the presentation, you want to say, hey, is anybody in pain? That way they can try that out. But if you literally, all you have is the tea, you are still in good company. You just want to have some tea, right? Now, it's important that you go around to the team and find out who's in your area. Because if we have actual team members in your area, they may be able to stop by with some of their products and support you at your home party, okay? Now, when they come into the house, you want the house to be, you can have music playing. Now, I wouldn't recommend like the rap music today. You could have some pop, some R&B, things of that nature, but you don't want to have anything that's crazy that could be offensive because you don't really know whatever, okay? So at this home party, your presentation is probably going to be about 30 minutes. And typically, it's going to be a little bit more relaxed because they know you, they know your house, and people don't want you to turn on like this new expert now that they're at your house, okay? Now, if you can get someone there to do the presentation, that's perfect, okay? But if you're finding yourself where you have to do the presentation, well, what you can do is you can pull up a YouTube video of Twyla Porter's presentation, my presentation, anyone's presentation you want, and let them watch that presentation. But I promise you, you probably can just get somebody to come there and do the presentation for you in 25 to 30 minutes, all right? So you present it just like you do on the 10 o'clock call, just like we do on the webinars. It's the exact same thing, except sometimes you'll get interrupted by the guest there with testimonials or questions, okay? So you don't want to spend 1,000,001 hours on testimonials. You don't want to do that. This presentation is about the person that's presenting, okay? So if you're there and you've got other members of your team are there, you just got to let them know, hey, listen, this is not your time to shine, and this is the time for the speaker to speak. And if she asks, are there any testimonials out there, give your testimonial really quickly, but don't go on long spiels about things, okay? Because you want your presenter to present between 20 and 25 minutes on the products and the compensation plan. If you have a whiteboard for them to show the 50-50-50 plan, fantastic. If not, you can just talk it, because most of the calls you can't see anything, all right? So when the presentation is over with, the speaker should say, does anyone have any questions? And people are going to start raising their hands, and that person is going to ask questions. But if you're finding yourself and you did a presentation at your own home party and you're like, I don't know what I'm going to do about these questions, well, this is what you do. Before your home party, call your upline, call your sponsor, and see who is available. Because somebody may be available for a 3-way call-in. A lot of times, we always do home parties where people are presenting, and then they'll call me in for a 3-way. So they'll call me in, put me on speakerphone, and I'll share my testimony, and I'll open up for questions. And I'll answer all of their questions on the phone live. It's just that simple, okay? And so when it's over with, the speaker's going to say, well, great. So who wants to buy some tea? This is why it's important to have products there so you can sell them the products, all right? Now, some of them may say, well, I want to order this and I want to order that. Then you want to give them the application, pull out the computer, and have these people buy right then and there, okay? This is why it's important to have your laptop, and why it's important to have those forms, because you don't let somebody leave the house. The home party is about selling them right then and there, and then booking another party, okay? So if you got someone there at your house and they're saying, I want to buy some products, but I don't want to do the business, but you know it's Aunt Shirley and she know everybody, then you can go to Aunt Shirley and say, hey, Aunt Shirley, not all out in the open, but you can sit next to Aunt Shirley. Your speaker can go to Aunt Shirley and say, well, hey, listen, I know you said you weren't interested in doing the business, but Keenya said that you know everybody. Would you be interested in hosting a home party at your house for Keenya? Aunt Shirley will say, well, sure. And you're like, oh, hey, listen, if you host a home party at your house for Keenya and we get at least, $200 worth of sales, we'll give you some free tea. Aunt Shirley going to be like, well, of course. You guys get what I'm saying? And so the home party is all about selling the products and then booking a party from a party. By the time that presentation is over with, you want to have at least 2 to 3 parties booked for the next week. All right, or the next day or next couple of days. That's why you do the home parties, because home parties are a lot more intimate and everybody knows each other and they trust each other, okay? So that's what you want to do to have a successful home party. I look forward to helping all of you guys build large world-class organizations here in Total Life Changes.